Hello everyone, welcome back to Bits and Bob's Divination. My name is Caitlin, and today we're going to be diving into such a fun one to look into your unique, magnetic, alluring, and attractive qualities that really bring people towards you. So let's go ahead and get started. Alright, so welcome back, my beautiful kindred spirits, and anyone new who is joining us here in this space. I am so excited. This is one of my favorite readings to do, and any reading that I get to hype you guys up and just tell you how uniquely beautiful, alluring, and attractive you are just always really lights me up. It just makes me so happy because we're all so uniquely beautiful, and there's such subtle little things about us that we just really don't realize that people see in us. And I don't know, it's just so uplifting and exciting. So I really hope you're excited for this one here today. And if you are new to the channel, maybe this is one of your very first readings here with me, definitely feel free and consider subscribing, as I put out new content and videos like this every single Monday for love, for creativity, for your own empowerment, for magic and spirituality, career messages, and so much more. So definitely feel free to subscribe and join this kindred space. And also, if you would like to support this channel even further, I do want to talk here for a moment about the offerings that I have for this specific month, and that I'm doing snail mail readings for relationships. So any type of relationship, it can be with family, friends, your inner child, romantic relationships, spiritual relationships, anything in that realm. We're really going to play with it. But these are snail mail readings, so I will be sending a reading to you in the mail. It'll be typewritten on a vintage typewriter from the 1970s, and on top of all of that, it is also wax sealed closed for your eyes only, which is so much fun. On top of that, this time there are 3 different options. The first option is a 4-card spread. This one looks into the heart and the mind within your reading, and also the specific relationship that you're looking into and any advice moving forward within that relationship. For the second option, it is a 7-card reading, where this one looks into your sunset and sunrise, your past, and moving into the journeys on their way in energy for a specific relationship. So we're still looking at one specific relationship, any advice coming in, lessons, as well as your head and your heart energies as well. And the third option goes really deep. It is like a love starburst kind of reading. So this one goes into 4 different types of relationships, the advice for that relationship from spirit, as well as any lessons you may be learning and growing through within that relationship, and where that's all kind of leading towards yourself. So it definitely has like this feeding energy, and it moves and shifts and has a lot more nuance. You can look a lot deeper and see how your relationships are even working together or against one another. So if that one interests you, or any of the other 2 with the 4 or 7 card reading, plus the magical add-ons that I have with handmade magical spell paper and a magical sigil that you could get to aid in whatever is brought up within your reading and the relationship you're looking into, then definitely feel free to check that all out down below in the description or on my Instagram. And if you don't have an Instagram but you want to see all the graphics and learn more about it, definitely feel free to email me as well. I'd be happy to send you any information you're looking for and answer any questions, as these are so much fun. I'm having so much fun doing them, so definitely feel free to reach out, as it's a great way to support you, support your relationships, and support this channel. It's like a win-win-win-win situation. So thank you to everyone who is interested, has reached out, or has shared about these readings. I really do appreciate it. And for listening to this portion of this intro, I really do appreciate that too. But we're going to go ahead and look at your most alluring traits. So for each of your piles here, I chose a different perfume bottle from my mom's collection. She has a bunch of little mini perfume bottles, and they're perfect for piles like this. And I think it's really beautiful to add in even what the scent is. So I'm going to try to describe it for you. But here for the bottle itself, for pile number 1, you have sort of this more square rectangle shape in comparison to the others. And on top of it, it also has this flower. I don't know if the flower is really going to show up, but there's a little flower. The smell is quite light. Like, it smells like if you wanted to go on a date, but you wanted to also smell kind of friendly, if that makes sense. I don't know. It's got sort of like a lighter, lifting kind of smell to it, and it's slightly fruity, I would say. So that is pile number 1. For pile number 2 here, we have this specific bottle. It is a much longer, taller bottle. It has this fluted top with a red top. The smell for it, ooh, if I said the last one was fruity, this one is definitely fruitier. This one has more of a woodsy fruity, if that makes sense. And this one feels like much like fruitier, like almost like it has a citrusy smell to it. So that is pile number 2. Then last but not least, for pile number 3 here, we have a longer yet smaller vial. And in this case, this one also has sort of this diamond triangle at the top, so it's more structured. But yeah, let's look at the smell, or smell it rather than look at it. I would say this is probably the lightest of all of them in terms of smell, and it also has a very like clean scent. Like if you were going out but you wanted to smell really clean shaven, or like you just got out of the shower but you want to smell kind of nice, I would say that that's what I get from this one. It's got more of like that powdery, clean scent. So before you start heading off to a pile, let's go ahead and take a deep breath together so you can really connect with each of the piles, really connect with your intuition, and sort of lift your energy here. So let's go ahead and take a deep breath together here now. And as always, there's no right or wrong way to choose your pile. You could choose 1 pile, 2 piles, all 3 piles. You could choose a pile, flip-flop, change your mind. There really is no right or wrong way here. Definitely just play around with them and use your intuition and see where it leads you. All of the timestamps will be down in the description, as well as within the chapter marks of this video. And if you're interested in those snail mail readings for relationship readings on any type of relationship during this February offering, then definitely check that out down below. Like I said, it's a great way to support yourself, to support your relationships, and to support this channel. Another great way to support this channel as well is the Kindred Tip Jar down below. Anything helps, anything's useful. It helps to pay for different things here and financially support this channel, but is by no means required, but is very much appreciated. So I just like to let you guys know it is available to you if you'd like. And yeah, thank you so much for being here, for bringing your unique self to this kindred space. And yeah, thank you so much. And we're going to go ahead and get started with pile number 1. Hello Group 1, if you've decided to choose this specific bottle with it saying beautiful on the back, then this is the pile for you. I'm going to go ahead and set it down right here for you so you can see it during your reading here today using the charms, the watercolor affirmations. We're also going to be using 2 different oracle decks, as well as the letter tiles and the Smith-Waite Centennial edition of the typical RWS deck. So this is what we're going to be using. All of the information on the different decks and supplies that I have here will be down below as well in case you're curious. But yeah, we are going to be looking into your most alluring, attractive, magnetic traits and parts to yourself, your body, your appearance, your spirit, your soul, all that kind of stuff that really attract people in. It may be really nuanced traits, very interesting traits, or more overarching traits, but the most important part that I want to stress here at the beginning is that just because you have alluring traits that bring in certain type of people doesn't mean that those same people are the people you're looking for back. So if you find that a lot of your traits are the same kinds of traits that you look for in someone else, then that overlap could be really useful. And on top of that, this is not specifically just romantic messages and people that you may be bringing in romantically, but also for friendships, also for other types of like chosen family members and things like that. So see what comes in. We're just going to play around with this one. So feel free to send your energy in and get settled, and we're going to go ahead and begin. So group one, what are your most alluring, attractive, magnetic lights that just like light people up around you? So first off, we have the 7 of Pentacles. This is immediately giving me this feeling of patience, that you're a very patient person, that people really like, that there's a lot of patience there. You're not in a hurry. You may get bored. You may have to like wait things out, and it may not always be fun, but you always will wait it out. You always will take the time to wait something out for the long haul. And even, like I said, you may get bored. It may not always be an easy task, but I do think that other people see that in you, that you will eventually get to it. Even if you procrastinate, you will get to it. So there is this like patient element to it. We also have Judgment. So for Judgment, this also can talk about you may recently or currently be going through kind of like this awakening feeling, like a spiritual awakening, a new awakening in a career, this like aha moment that's happening in your life right now, where things are transforming, rearranging, almost like your own personal evolution or level up. So that could also be alluring people in. But let's look a little further and then I'll explain a little bit more here. So definitely send your energy, and it does make a big difference. So here, group 1. Whoa, did you see how high that went? It just like flew so high. Anyway, interesting too. So we have here the Ace of Cups. So much emotion. You may be a type of person that people will say is quite emotional. You may be a water sign. You may show your emotion quite frequently, or you just bask in the joy of life and you allow that emotion to come through. But yeah, the Ace of Cups, such a beautiful card. You can see like the cup runneth over, right? There is so much here that you explore and enjoy in life. And even if it means you have to wait for it, you'll wait for quality. You'll wait for someone who's someone of quality. And so others may see that in you and know that you're going to be patient and wait for relationships with friends, family members, other kinds of things. You will wait for them to go through their own personal like evolution as well, so that you can find someone who you can really meet on an emotional level that's really like at your level. You know what I mean? Like, you're not just looking for anyone, you're looking for someone who is going to be patient, and I think they also are looking for someone who wants to be patient with you, who is also looking for someone who's gone through a level up, who is also looking for someone who they can really bear all of their emotions with. Like, I feel like these all really align quite to one specific type of person who's, you know, like those type of people who are ready for a committed relationship or ready to move into a relationship that has a lot more emotion involved, and they're willing to wait for quality over quantity. That's what I feel like they see in you, that you want that, or that they are seeing that potential in you for a long-term relationship with a friend, family member, or romantic partner. So that's already really cool, just seeing that in general. I will talk more on these cards as we go, but I want to get more information, so we're going to keep going here. I want to get an oracle message here from this spellcasting oracle. So let's see, group 1 here. What other alluring traits do you have alongside these full emotions? And I wanted to mention too, with the Ace of Cups, this also can talk about like the freedom of being able to express your emotions. Like, I'm almost getting this playful, young child, vulnerable kind of feeling. Like, when you're a young child, you just bear all of your emotions. You can feel safe to be able to do that around the people that you feel most safe around, like your family, your friends. But like, emotions are so heightened when you're young, and I feel like yours are continued to stay heightened as you've gotten older, and people can see that in you, right? Some people snuff out their emotions because of life and circumstances and experiences, but you still let your joy be your joy. You still let your hard days be your hard days, and you just bear it all. And I think people can find that alluring too, because it's quite refreshing in a world where, you know, people put up boundaries and put up, not that you're not allowed to have boundaries, but more so like put up blocks against being allowed to have their emotions. So there's something about that too, being able to be not necessarily sensitive, but more so very open emotionally, which I think is a really wonderful trait, honestly. So let's keep looking. Group 1 here. What else do we have coming in? So we also have Truth. So you're probably a very honest person, or they look to you for honest advice, look to you as a great person to, again, bear it all too, because you will just show them what they need to see. You will reflect back what they need to see. You're also not the type of person, like, you know, when you go with a friend and they're like, do I look good in this? And they're like, yeah, of course you look good in this, but really they're thinking the opposite. You're the kind of friend that's going to tell them, you know, that shirt doesn't look good on them, or you're going to tell them that they've got food on their face. You're going to be the person that's going to be honest with them in the small things and the big things in life. And I think a lot of people find that also really refreshing too, because because, like I said, you have this emotional maturity because of these level ups that have made you, you're not here to play nice or to keep the peace. You want to just tell people how it is. You want to be honest and true about life, your life experiences. I do think it's interesting too that some people will be possibly having to earn that truth from you too, because of this like almost boundary that's going around this. So it's not like you just give out free advice all the time, but that when you do give out advice, that it's very pure, it's very important, and it's very impactful, and people find that very useful, as especially as like a friendship is what I'm getting mostly, but also just in a relationship. It's honesty is so important. That trust that you can get from truth and being truthful, I think, is honestly really, like, literally honestly, I keep saying honestly because it just feels so, you just feel so honest, and I think that's really alluring as well for others. And I think that also comes not only from the emotional evolution, but also from, I have one of those faces at least where people like, I can't lie because people just can see that on my face. So why go through the hoops to try to put up a front? You're just going to tell it how it is. Be who you are authentically. Show your truth authentically. And I think that's really cool. So let's look a little bit further. I recently just got this deck. It is the Thread Bound Oracle. I absolutely love it so far, but I haven't really got to play around with it here. So we're gonna see what's coming in for you. So group one, definitely feel free to send your energy in. But group one, what do you have coming in here for your most alluring and attractive traits? Let me get one more here and then we'll pick that one up. Your most alluring, attractive, and magnetic traits. There it is. One more. Okay. Oh, so cute. So, okay, you got two different cards here, as I mentioned. The second one I'm going to talk about first, actually. So first we have family showing up, the family. And it says kinship, belonging, and collaboration. So like I talked about earlier with the truth card, there is a lot of honesty with you. There's a lot of that, which gives, people feel really like they can be themselves with you because you have that like young child vulnerable joy. People want to be vulnerable with you because they know that they can open up to you because you're so open with the world. So having that truth, having that honesty, having that openness really brings people to you because they feel like they can also be open, that you've created a safe space in which people can also bear themselves and be very honest with you. You might be that type of friend that people constantly go to for advice because of this. And you may not know why, but this is definitely part of that reason. The other thing too that I get with family also can mean that if you are interested in having a family, this may not resonate for everyone, but if you're interested in having a family, or maybe you even have a chosen family or a type of family that, just like, I personally had like a mom where everyone wanted to kind of adopt her as a mom. So you may also people might be attracted to your family or to your chosen family because it just feels like on a friendship level, like you all are working together to create this beautiful community. So it may not only be you that's bringing them in, but also the community that's around you, and that you surround yourself with, because it feels very raw and true. But back to if you want a family, this also can be talking about if you personally want a family, then you might be attracting people in who are also interested in having a family because of that. Or maybe they haven't had a great family growing up, but this is like, because you have such a wonderful group of friends and kinship and family members and community members, they feel like they want to be a part of that too. And you kind of maybe even bring them in this like leadership role. The other card that you got here is the train, which is a little bit different. So the train says here, transition, travel, and liminal space. Ooh, travel definitely hit the most. So this is making me think like, if you're interested in traveling, if you're interested in moving from one place to another, maybe you're currently moving to a new neighborhood, that may be attracting in new people that you hadn't been before because, you're available to new people, right? You're moving to new communities and new places. So you may not always be around these people, but you are, wherever you go, you can find that kinship, you can find that community. And I think that you just easily click into a space, or at least people feel calm enough to be in that space with you. The other thing that I was going to put out there too with this though, and it's just sort of like another side of this, is that you also might be magnetizing in people who are the type that come and go and come and go. So this might be something, like I said, with that overlapping at the very beginning. If you're not interested in a relationship, especially since you have that level up evolution kind of vibe, you like your community, if you're not interested in people that come in and come out and come in and come out, this might be like one of those sort of red flag things to keep in mind as well, in the fact that you might be attracting in the wrong type of people. But if you're also one of those people who are looking for possibly a casual relationship, or you're interested in traveling and maybe you can't have long-term relationships all the time or keeping those going, this might be something else to keep in mind. But I also like the liminal space and transition too, because like I said, you are going through a level up personally on a soul level. So they may be transitioning with you. You might be evolving together, especially with community too. So you might be in certain support groups or things like that where you're all evolving together. And that might be a great place to find other kin-like people, and that kindred spirit kind of feeling. But yeah, with all of that said so far, I do think that's everything with your cards, because I do want to leave enough time to look at your charms, to get those small, cute, minute details. But first we're going to look into your letter tiles, and then I'll also look back at the cards to see if we have anything else, but I do think that's everything at the moment. So yeah, feel free to send your energy in. This is going to give us any more personality traits or specific words or people that you may be magnetizing in, or that you are alluring in and attractive in that way. Okay. I don't know why, but salsa, for whatever reason, popped in my mind, which made me think like of salsa dancing. So I don't know if any of you are, and this might be very specific to a few of you, but I just got like salsa with these three. Like maybe you're a salsa dancer, maybe you are very expressive with your body and the way you dance, and like play around in that liminal space. That I do think that might be another way that you creatively bear everything out, and you really, work with a team possibly in that way. But salsa came through for whatever reason, but we have SALFUI, also C, G, and E. We don't entirely have glue here, but I'm gonna use, actually no, we do, we have GLUE, and this makes me think you're like the glue of the group, right? This goes more to that family element of you being the glue of the group. You're the type of person that keeps people together, especially with this transition and travel card. Even though people are transitioning, maybe they're moving to a new job, moving to a new place, going through a transition in their lives, maybe you're also the type of person that keeps people together. You're the glue. You're the person that's like setting up dates to hang out. You're the person that, allures people in that way too, because you make sure everyone feels included and make sure that everyone feels like they have a piece of the puzzle to play in that entire collaboration, that community, that space, that everyone has a platform and everyone's equal in that space. So there's something about glue, which I think is really wonderful. We also have clue, so you may be a type of person who's very logical. You look for clues. Again, you're a very patient person, or at least people perceive you to be. So that makes sure that people come in and they have to really look for clues. I don't think you give it out easily. You may bear all of your emotions, but like I talked about earlier with this truth card, there is this like boundary here. So you don't just let anyone in, but once they're in, they're like really in your space. They're really allowed in. You really keep them close, but you don't immediately give them everything with clues. So they have to kind of think for a little while, and it takes a little bit before you give them the like green light. So that's what I'm really seeing for the most part here, but definitely take time to write these down and play around with the wording and see what comes in for you. I'm definitely going to put glue at the forefront because that's what's really coming in for me most here, as well as that salsa dancing kind of vibe, maybe the way that you move your body or the way that you walk, your gait. is just very alluring to people. Maybe it's just very honest and true and people can see that. But those are your letters. Like I said, feel free to play around with them and see what comes through for you. The last thing that I was going to say before we move on to your charms also is definitely feel free to give this video a like. It really does help this channel so much. So if you're enjoying this reading so far, definitely feel free to do that. It would mean so much to me. But with that said, let's go ahead and do your final little mix through here of the charms. Actually, you know what? I did not pull you one of these, so I'm actually going to do that really quick. These are affirmations. This is something to keep in mind about the people who you are alluring in, kind of almost like an advice card. So let's see what's coming through first with your watercolor affirmation before I forget, and then we'll move on to your charms. So group one here. What do they have coming in? So we have 2 here, which based off the one that's sticking here first, we have it's a marathon, not a race. Again, the same things I've been talking about earlier with this card. You take things slow. You aren't looking for just anyone to be in your bubble. So again, that's coming in. And then the idea of let's try again is also giving me that feeling of once you put someone in your bubble, you might have people who kind of leave that bubble too quickly. And that's why you have these boundaries. So that's may be where it's come from. It's not to say that you should stop putting people in your bubble or that you shouldn't try again because of fear of someone moving out of your space or constantly transitioning and moving out of your space, because you have that glue in you. So definitely keep trying again to find these people and bring those people in. But with that said, now that I have those pulled for you, sorry, I forgot about those, we are going to go ahead and do your charms. So feel free to send your energy in. These are going to give us those smaller, nuanced details, and I love to see what comes up. We're going to be actually putting them on the cards themselves. So yeah, definitely send your energy in, and I'll go ahead and mix them up. Okay, quite a few here. I'm going to zoom you in and kind of look through some of this here. A few of them fell off the board, so I'm going to actually leave that one on top, see if this one falls anywhere else. It still didn't really fall anywhere, so okay. Ooh, that's an interesting one too. Okay, let's see. So the first thing that I'm going to talk about here is that you got this little, I always think of it as like a little weight, like for like exercise or something like that. So you could also be a very physically or emotionally strong person, seeing as you have, just because you bear all of your emotions doesn't mean you're not strong, because you do have those boundaries. You have had to go through things in the past that make sure that you are patient with that glue, with those transitions. People may be going in and out of your life, but there is also a physical strength too. So people might find you physically quite strong, right? They're very hard working in this card. You can see them working and taking rest as well, but you do have this physical strength coming in here as well, so that might also be alluring on a physical aspect. The other things that we have coming in here is the brother's charm, or the 2 brothers charm, but also mostly what I'm getting from this is duality, mixing, that liminal space that this card talks about. Liminal space is like you're not arriving and you're not at your destination, but you're not yet still at the very beginning. There's some sort of in between there. You're riding the wave. See what comes in here. It also can talk about illusions, right? This kind of is an illusion, but mostly I'm just getting this feeling of like, even though you're evolving, people know that you're not done yet. Like, you don't think of this as like the stop point. They know that you want to continue evolving, and they almost want to be on that ride with you now. The other charms that you have coming in here with truth is you do have the like courage, strength card. So again, another Another thing showing that you're very emotionally strong. That's why you're allowing yourself not only that little bubble that we have around this truth, but also the idea that you are, so honest, because you know that that's going to be the thing to do, and you're quite strong and confident in that as well, right? They're very confident. Whenever you think of lions, they are going to tell it how it is. So that also is coming in here, and people like your honesty quite a lot, and it almost brings out confidence in themselves because they know that they are getting 100% truth from you, and that gives them this feeling of being safe and feeling very much like you are a very trustworthy person. The last charms that we have showing up here are react. So this talks about being emotionally capable to have a conversation where you aren't reactive, right? And also being able to reflect back on a conversation. We even have that coming in here with the mirror, so there's more of that too, but that you're really good at reflecting back. Seeing as it also fell beside the family card, this also makes me think that you like to reflect back on old memories, you like to have those conversations, you like to react rather than react to old conversations. You like to reminisce in a way, is what's coming through for me. So again, that can be something that glues people together, because that's a great way to have a conversational starter. So people feel like you're really good to have a conversation with, because you are a good listener. You're not always acting in the conversation, but you're also really good at reflecting and listening to someone, because you definitely take your time. You have that patience there. The last things that also give me more of that is you do have the headphones charms. This is talking about making sure to be really important. You really listen to people, and I don't think you want like surface level conversations. You want deep conversations. So that's coming through too. And then the last thing that we also have here is the unique charm. So again, your family is very unique. Your community is very unique. Your kindred spirits are very unique. And those are also the types of people that allure them in, because, you are a package deal with them. So they see you as someone who is very unique. You may even be seeing as this as the unicorn. You could also be in the LGBTQIA plus community or other marginalized groups. And that makes other people feel very comforted, because like if you look at the diversity of this card, you can see like you don't just make friends with, one type of person. You make friends with all types of people from all different types of backgrounds, and I think that's really beautiful too, in creating that comforting space. So yeah, with all of that in mind, I hope you found this reading useful and helpful on your journey into who you want to be manifesting in, the type of people that are attracted and magnetized to you, and everything in between there. If you are interested in this channel and if you enjoyed this reading, definitely feel free to like the video. Let me know your thoughts and comments down below. I'd love to hear how the different charms and everything resonated. And then also feel free to subscribe, as I put out new videos every single Monday, and I'd love to have you part of our kindred space here as well, as I call you all my kindred spirits, because I love to have you here and us all to speak our truth. So if that interests you, definitely feel free to subscribe. And lastly, if you would like to support this channel even further, definitely feel free to look at the Kindred Spirit tip jar, the Kindred Tip Jar down below. It is definitely not required, but it does make a big difference, and I really do appreciate it. And lastly, if you would like to check out the current readings that I have my current offerings down below, but also the specific ones that I'm doing for February in 2021, whenever you're watching this, are relationship readings, and they are snail mail relationship readings. So these can be on any type of relationship, but there is no limit, just like this. It can be on family members, with spirit, with a romantic partner, with friends, family members, and yourself, and so many others, your inner child even. We can really play around with this, but they are snail mail readings, so they are readings sent to you in the mail and typewritten on a vintage typewriter from the 1970s. They are also wax sealed closed for your eyes only. And on top of that, there are 3 different types of readings you can choose from. There's a 4-card reading that goes into more of the head and the heart within your relationship, as well as other messages. You have the 7-card reading, which goes even deeper in the head, the heart, advice, future, past, all that kind of stuff. And the heart of your relationship. And then the last reading that I actually have will go into 4 different types of relationships and how they all intermingle together towards the center with the heart of all of your relationships. So there's a lot to dive into that one. It's a 13 card reading. We really, really go in deep. So if that interests you as well, that's also available. There's also magical add-ons and other fun little things you can try out with these. So all of the information on those will be down below. So definitely feel free to reach out if that's something you're interested in. I will be doing them all the way through February of 2022. I think I said 2021 earlier, but I meant 2022. Still getting used to the beginning of the year. But yeah, thank you so much for joining in on this reading, for bringing your beautiful spirit to this space. And I will see you in the next one. Bye. Hello group 2, if you've decided to choose this specific bottle that says design on the other side, then this is the pile for you, for your specific perfume and scent, as we are going to be looking into what makes you most attractive using the charms, the watercolor affirmations, as well as 2 different oracle decks, the letter tiles for names, dates, places, personality traits, and all of that jazz. And then we're also using the Smith-Waite Centennial Edition deck. So all of the information on all of the different decks and supplies will be down below in the description, so you can definitely have a little look there. But like I said, we're going to be looking into what makes you most attractive, what brings people in, what really attracts them to you. So if you feel like sending your energy in, that's great. That's going to be really helpful for this. But I think it's also important to note, and I stated this in the previous pile and I'll state it in the third as well, is that just because you have these alluring traits doesn't mean you're always bringing in the same type of people that you find alluring. So I do think it's important to also, like, if you're not interested in people who are interested in a specific trait about you, then that's something to just be aware of. So see how it resonates, see what comes through, and we're going to be playful and fun with this. So feel free to send your energy in and we'll get started. So group 2, what are your most alluring magnetic traits? What really lights people up around you? And just really makes them want to be themselves around you. Let's see, group 2, your most alluring and attractive traits. All right, so first off, we have the Knight of Wands. There's a lot of passion, a lot of drive, a lot of purpose and adventure coming from this card. I love that already at the start. There's just like such a fiery energy. You may be a fire sign, or you have a lot of fire signs in your chart. But yeah, that's definitely coming through already. Let's see a little bit further. So group 2. Of course, you definitely have some fire going on, because here we are with the Ace of Wands as well. Passion projects, really wanting to kickstart things. And maybe people are allured by that because they're like, wow, this person just has a lot in their mind. They have a lot of dreams. They have a lot of passion, a lot of goals. The other thing, though, with the Ace of Wands doesn't mean that you'll always take action on it. But seeing as you have the Knight, there is a lot of action coming in from that, because you can see they're almost taking this same wand and really running with it. So I definitely think there's not like a lack of motivation, but if you do see that in yourself, if you do feel like, okay, but then there's like a ton of projects you never finish, that might be things that people don't see in you long term, but they do see in you in this way. I also think it's important to note before I get too much further is that this also can be within friends and family. So you can also be that you're bringing in like different types of colleagues as well that you're bringing in. If you have a lot of really big passionate ideas within your workplace or other things like that too, that can also be alluring the right type of people to you as well, that have that same sort of passionate spirit as you. So let's keep looking a little bit further. So group 2, what else do you have coming in for your most attractive, magnetic, and alluring traits? Okay, so I'm going to take this top card here. Okay, so we have all wands. Definitely a fiery pile. Even if you're not a fire sign, like I was talking about earlier, you just could have a lot in your chart, or you could just be a very assertive, very adventurous, very fun, playful kind of person too. There's a lot of play in this spirit as well. But I think it's really interesting too, like I talked about at the beginning, like you also might want to be putting up boundaries because you have so much passion and so much fire, right? If you think of all of the things, like water can make you feel really calm, and air can make you feel like you have a lot to talk about, and then earth can be very stable, but fire is like the place that people come to for warmth, right? If you're with a group of friends around a campfire, this is a place that you like sing songs, you feel warm, you feel cozy, you feel like there's just like someone lights you up. So you really light people up, you really remind people of who they are and that they can go after their dreams, and that makes people really attracted to you because they're like, wow, right? Like you're almost like a motivator, an engine in their life. You really give people that fire, those logs to keep putting on their own personal fire. But because of that, I think it's also you just attract a lot of people to you. So you have to be discerning about who you want to keep in your space, right? Because you light up so many people that you're like, oh wait, and you're almost overwhelmed possibly by it. So you have to be able to put up your boundaries energetically between the people who, just aren't part of your vision, right? That aren't going to continue on your dreams with you, which may mean that you cycle in and out with friendships. You may cycle in and out with other people because, right, like there are different types of flames. You've got like a candle flame that can burn for a very long time. You have like a fire and a bonfire that can be really intense, but then once the fire's out, it's out, and it burned a lot of energy out of you. So it's important to know what kind of flame you feel like you are. Like, are you more of the candle, or are you the type of person that just like really lights people up, but then that means that you either move quickly out of them, right? You eat up all the wood and then you move on, or other people around you quickly move from you because they're looking for something really quick that's just going to be like that quick little spark, and then they kind of move on. So these are things to just be aware of because, right, it attracts different types of people to you. But I still think that these are very attractive things. So let's continue to look a little bit further. So here we go. Group 2. What else do you have that is very alluring and attractive? So here we are, freedom. Definitely see that. You have this adventurous, almost travel-esque feel. You don't have to necessarily be physically traveling, but you currently are possibly going through a transition in your life. You're wanting to move from one place to the next. You're wanting to move from one job to the next, or you just have so much passion for something. It doesn't have to be specifically career-based or anything, but like that you feel very free in that, or you give other people that freedom. That's what I was talking about earlier, right? You like light so many people up that you make them feel free. You make them feel like, whoa, I could do that. You're right. Like you just give people really good pep talks. Like you're a really good leader, a really good motivator, and possibly even like a life coach or something like that. You make people feel free. You make people feel like they can finally step out into their power, because this is a very powerful card too. You teach people how to stand up to their oppressors. You teach people those sorts of methods, and like maybe you've had to go through that in your life, and now you know how to teach people how to stand up for themselves, to be that leader, to be the person on the horse and not the person who has to constantly defend themselves from others. And that makes them feel free because you are free, or you're working towards being more free for yourself. So they definitely see that in you, and that attracts people to you because they're looking for the same in them. They want to see that reflected back in them, because you can just really pep them up. So that's definitely coming through here with this freedom card. I almost see you also with this freedom card too, like I was talking about, but visually you can see this little like dragonfly, and dragonflies in another deck that I love, which is the Prairie Majesty Oracle, talks about turning, shifting a perspective very quickly. So the people that get in your space, you're bringing that key to them to see a way that they can, instead of always feeling like they have to turn left, they can finally turn right, or they can finally like get around the curb, so I really like that about you, as well as it's just like you not only tell them that they can be free, but you bring along the key in which to do so. But because of that, again, it can mean that people don't want to constantly stay caged after they've been with you, right? They feel so free that then they kind of like flee the nest almost in a way with this like bird at the top. So let's keep looking though, because I want to see what else is coming in with your attractive qualities. So here we go with the Threadbound Oracle. What else do we have coming in here for you? Group 2. What do you have coming in? So we have that 1, but I'm looking for 2 cards. So definitely feel free to send your energy in. It always does make a big difference. So let's see, group. I feel like we need to do it this way. Group 2. There we go. It's right here. Okay, let's see what we have here for your other one. Okay, so we have 2 different cards coming in here. The first one that I'll talk about here is the Weaver. It says patterns, connections, and meditation. So again, I feel like you teach people the patterns that have been in their lives and how you can manipulate them, change them, flip them, see a new perspective that they haven't seen before, right? This is making me think of like the Cat's Cradle, if you've ever like played that game with string, and you have all these different ways and different configurations that you can do, and I think you're teaching people new pathways that they weren't used to before, and that really allures people in, especially in like a friendship sort of way, but also in terms of like romantic senses also. And I'll talk even more with the 2 of thread here. It does give me this feeling of that when you are with someone that you're looking for, like you put your all into it, right? With that Knight of Wands, like I said, you're very driven, you want to travel, you want adventure, but once you've moved into that position of being like totally with someone, you want to give all of your energy towards them, which can be very intense at times, but also very passionate and very driven and very careful, and you really want to be that weaver where you can really weave you two very deeply together. So I do see that. I do think you want to make really true connections with people when you do get them at that level, because I think you've been kind of brushed off enough times. Like you give your all to someone that I think that sometimes you've had people kind of brush you off. They want that freedom from you, and that you're currently wanting to sort of attract people in who are very close-knit with you, that you can create those really close connections. Because on the other side here we have the 2 of thread. This is twine, and it says agreement, symbiosis, and compromise. So yeah, with this one, as you can see, this is very similar to like the 2 of cups or other situations where you really are sharing everything with each other. But what I really love about this card, and especially with the things that they talk about in the guidebook, is it's about how on one side of this you can have a really wonderful connection with someone that feels very equal and balanced, but if you have twine that's twined together, that one side is pushing too hard and you can't give them that freedom, then it feels very you're weaving it too tight. So I think in this it could go one of 2 ways, where you can kind of almost weave it just too tight that they feel like they're kind of almost like claustrophobic, or you can move into a space where you allow people the freedom and individuality, which is going to kind of ease up that and gain more trust. And so that might be something you're working on. But I do think it's still a really alluring trait in the fact that people want to be feeling really weaved to you, especially right off the bat, because you have all of this fire underneath you. You have all of this light that brings them to you. But I think it's really important to, instead of having a flame that just is like whoosh and then out, it's really important to continue to make a more steady flame, right? You put logs on the fire more carefully. You let people help you with the fire, right? And you're kind of working together as a team, and giving someone that freedom. But because this was like one of your top traits, it does make me think that you definitely are quite free, but the people that you're attracting in, making sure that you're not bringing in people who are kind of mooching on your fire and your energy, and you still have your individuality and freedom too. So I'm going to go ahead and pull one more card here, and then we'll move on to your charms and letter tiles, which is going to give us a lot more small, nuanced details And I'll also look back at the cards to make sure I'm not missing anything else I want to speak on, but let's see what you have coming in here. This is mostly more of an advice card to make sure like you're not alluring in the wrong type of people or magnetizing the wrong type of people. Okay, so the thing that we got here is quite nice. So we have here, laughter is the best medicine. Seeing as you have all this fire too, it does make me think of like giggling around a campfire, having a laugh, having a little bit of fun. So I think you can be very carefree as well, especially with that freedom, right? You're carefree, you don't want to feel chained back by anyone. But when you are really with someone too, you want it to feel very carefree and very light. And I think people get that from you. I think also your laugh in general could be very alluring to people. I think people maybe find your laugh like all the more funny. You really can be quite a funny person, and so people just like, even right now I feel like I could laugh. Like it just feels really giggly, really fun, very carefree, and with that freedom too, you might be really close to your inner child and creative elements. So if you are a very creative person, maybe with art, or even if you're not in a creative like field of work or anything like that, even if you're like a sciencey math major, you're very creative with the way that you go about things. It's not always so logical. So I really like that coming in here, and I think that laughter gives that lighter side to you as well. So with all of your cards kind of cast out here, we're going to go ahead and move on to your letter tiles and charms. But if you are enjoying this reading so far, please be sure to give this video a like. It really does help the channel so much. So thank you to everyone who's taken a moment to do that. I really do appreciate it. As we are going to go ahead and move on to the charms, and especially with these two, definitely feel free to let me know at the end or now or whenever you'd like to with a comment down below. What you see in these letter tiles too, because this is going to be names, dates, places, personality traits, and those sorts of things. So it's really interesting to work with your own intuition with these cards too, see what comes through for you. But let's see, group 2. Oh my goodness, they just like started flying out. I've never had that happen. Okay, we're going to take them. Okay. I've seriously never had them just like fall out, like maybe one or two, but so many did. It felt very important though. For whatever reason, we don't have an O out, but I just got like bop, which makes me think that you might be a musician, or you might be interested in music. Maybe you're the type of person like really turns the music up, especially with adventure coming up here, like in the car. And I think that's very attractive to people. Maybe you're the type of person that really opens up in a car. That's like your place that you feel the most free, or even just in traveling places in general. I just think you feel really free in that way, and I think you maybe like to travel from place to place but still keep your connections. But yeah, bop just came in for whatever reason, so I'm going to see what else you have here. We have B, P, G, D, E, I, L, A, V, and T. So, okay, what do we have here? Let's see. I'm kind of seeing like built almost here. So you may be like building or a builder or something like that. Like you work in construction, or you work in some sort of way where you weave and construct something together. But I'm also getting with built here. It also can be like your personal physical build. Like you may just have like really strong bones, or just like a certain like jaw structure, or like a certain bone structure that people find really alluring as well. On top of that, let's see what else I see here. You may work in like advertising, or in something that where people just feel very like added into the conversation, or you really add something to their life. I'm also seeing plait here, like a braid of some sort, almost like, again, you like to weave things together with these two cards, or maybe you wear your hair in a certain way where you wear a lot of plaits, or you wear it long in a way that you can really play around with it. And people maybe even like to play with your hair, or maybe you're a hairstylist in that way as well. And then I also see dig here. Maybe you like to dig deep with people. Maybe you don't like to have, conversations. And I also see B as well, but conversations that are very surface level. You like a deeper conversation that can really get into the deeper side, or you like to weave different types of people together, even you like to dig deep, or literally physically like to dig in some way, like I said, with construction. But that's what I'm going to go ahead and leave you with. But definitely feel free to write these letters down and play around with them. Maybe even write them on pieces of paper and move them about. But those are the different letters that you had come in here. Definitely feel free to let me know in the comments down below what you saw come in, but we are going to go ahead and move on to your charms, as they're going to give us a lot of those smaller nuanced details. So definitely feel free to send your energy in, and we'll get started on those. Here we go, group 2. Oh no, that one was coming through. Okay, so I'm going to pick up what fell here, and then I'm going to zoom you in so you can see everything in a little bit more detail here. Okay, this is what we've got. The first charm that was really falling through the most is, again, more of that twine feeling. That feeling like you want to give someone their freedom, but you've also been burned enough times that you almost want to also have someone that finally wants to commit to you. So this is one of those things where it's like maybe things aren't constantly lining up, like with what you want and what another person wants, and there's just like this middle ground that's not always fully working. So I feel like you want to give people their freedom, but you want to make sure that they feel like they're someone you can trust, and vice versa. So a lot of people see in you that you can be someone who wants to travel, that wants to really follow your passions and your dreams, and you still want to be in a committed relationship, but you know that you need that freedom. And another person wants the same, and they're seeing that in you. They're seeing that you would want to give that to them, because we have the commitment charm. This is commitments, legalities, or things that are wanting to come full circle that you really want to. This is like promises even. So yeah, that's what's coming in here, and you're having it on that freedom, which is just making me think again, like you maybe don't want to be in a committed relationship in terms of marriage, and maybe someone feels similar, and you're attracting those types of people to you who maybe aren't interested in marriage or aren't interested in a long-term relationship, or a relationship in which you feel tied down to it. You want to feel like or they, at least the people who are being attracted towards you, can tell that you might want a relationship, and they might want a relationship that feels very open but yet trustworthy, that you kind of weave your own way with a person that's not necessarily as conventional. The other thing that we have coming in here is we have the don't jump the gun charm showing up here with like this little revolver. This makes me think, especially since you have it on the 7 of Wands here, that you're not looking again for a relationship that you feel like you have to defend yourself constantly. You want that freedom. You want to feel committed to someone without having to feel like you have to explain yourself all the time. And again, I think vice versa, someone is looking for that too, and they see that in you, and they feel like they want to jump on that right away, but you may be showing them signals otherwise, so this might be something to keep in mind. The other things that I have coming in for you is we do have this intuitive quality as well. This makes me think of like Labradorite. It's very magical, very intuitive. So maybe people are also allured towards like your magical or spiritual or even religious side. So that's coming in as well with this, that you may be weaving different types of people together. Like you're open to seeing other people's dreams and passions, and you're letting them be free to be themselves, and they really enjoy that from you. I'm also being affirmed again with the Knight of Wands with the Monster charm. This makes me think again, like you want to go after maybe like less conventional things when it comes towards your passions and your dreams, less conventional ways of seeing the world, and people enjoy seeing a fresh perspective where people may see as like being monstrous or see as being I'm almost just thinking otherworldly or different, but you show them often, and people really enjoy that from you, that fresh perspective, that way of seeing the world from a new point of view, or even, from a foreign point of view, because maybe you travel to foreign places or travel to different unique places that make people wonder, that allure people to you because they want to hear your stories, they want to hear where you've been, or they want to hear the experiences that are very different from their own. The last two charms that we have coming in here is we have the fork. Again, more of that unconventional feeling. It's making me think of, like, if you ever have watched, like, Ariel, where she has, like, the little fork, and instead of using it to eat her food, she uses it to comb her hair. So it's like seeing things from a different, fresh perspective, or doing things in an unconventional way, in a very unique, funny, maybe you're even very clumsy is also coming through. Like, you're very clumsy and kind of funny in that way, and you're okay with making fun of yourself. You're okay with having that be the things that you bond on. Which I think is really cute too. This is such a light laughter side to it as well. So I think that just brings, like, this, like, fun, unique element to you. But the last charm we have here is tradition, and seeing as we have the weaver and so much unconventional sides of things, I think this is, again, with even the spiritual side of this, you may still want the same sorts of commitments, but in an unconventional way. You don't want to go the traditional route, and others see that as something that really magnetizes them to you because they may be looking for something similar. So that's also coming through here again. So those are all of your charms. If you enjoyed this reading, definitely, like I said, feel free to give this video a like down below. Definitely comment down below with what you see. There may be different things that are very unique to you that you saw in the cards and images or within the letters. Also, if you would like to join this Kindred Spirit space, definitely feel free to subscribe, as I put out new videos every single Monday for spirituality, self-growth, for your alluring qualities, and other things in between for career and spirituality. So definitely feel free to subscribe and join on in. And lastly, if you would like to support this channel even further, I am doing love readings right now, or also just relationship readings in general, beyond just the romantic relationships that you can check out, but also you can check out the Kindred Tip Jar down below, as that's another really wonderful way, definitely not required, but definitely a wonderful way that I truly do appreciate as well to support this channel. The readings that I am doing, though, are snail mail readings, so these relationship readings are sent to you in the mail, and they are typed up on a vintage typewriter and are sealed closed with a wax seal for your eyes only. They are open to all different types of relationships, so not only romantic relationships, but also friendships with your inner child, within your self-love relationship, also within your family or even chosen family, and even with spirit guides. So there's definitely a lot to play around here. There are 3 different types of readings you can get: a 3-card, a 7-card, or a 13-card reading. So all of the information on this will be down below in the description, with a lot more information also on my Instagram, and a link for that down below as well. So definitely feel free to join in if that's something you'd like, as it's a great way to support this channel, but also to support you and the relationship that you're looking into. So I do hope you check those out. And with all of that said, I'm wishing you the best. You have so many passions and goals and drive, so definitely do not let that stop you. And I will see you in the next one. And bye. Hello Group 3, if you've decided to choose this specific bottle, then this is the pile for you. I'm going to go ahead and set it down right here for you so you can see it during your reading today, as we are going to be looking into your most alluring traits and attractive traits using the charms, the watercolor affirmations, as well as several different oracle decks, the letter tiles for names, dates, places, and personality traits, as well as the Smith-Waite Centennial Edition Tarot deck. So all of the information on all of this will be down in the description below, but we are going to be looking into your most alluring and attractive magnetizing traits. And I think it's important to note, and I mentioned this in the other piles too, that just because they are alluring traits, just because you are magnetizing these types of people in, does not mean you have to take them, does not mean they have to become your friendships, your relationships, your romantic relationships in your life, as we're going to be looking into all different types of people that you're attracting in, not only romantic romantic relationships. So yeah, just the point is you don't have to take these people in, but they are the types of people that you might be attracting in because of your attractive traits. So we'll see what comes in here and see how it resonates. But if you are settled and ready to go and cozy, then we're going to go ahead and get started. Feel free to send your energy in, and let's go. Group 3 here. Group 3, what are your most attractive and romantic traits? For romance, for friendship, for all sorts of different kinds of relationships, not just romance, but we're also looking for what just kind of magnetizes people to you. Not feeling that one. What kind of people are being magnetized to you, and why? So here, yeah, we have the Hanged Man. So the Hanged Man, or the Hanged One in this case, talks about how you have a very fresh perspective that people are very attracted to. You bring a fresh perspective to the table. You showcase a new way of thinking, and also you're not a very fast kind of person. Like, you don't move quickly into relationships, but you don't necessarily also pursue a person very quickly either, because you're kind of like tied down, seeing the world from a new perspective, almost in your own world, that I think sometimes you don't always catch the signals that someone's possibly interested in you. But I do think that you have a fresh perspective that people are very attracted to. So let's see a little bit further. So group 3 here. What else do you have coming in group 3? So we also have the Two of Swords. The Two of Swords talks about indecisiveness, but in this case, I really feel like even if you are indecisive, I think that can still be attractive, because you work in a liminal space. You see things from a new perspective that does make people have to think about their own decisions, and also that there might even be a decision they hadn't seen because you gave them that perspective that they didn't have before. And so people maybe seek you out for advice in that way, advice for finding which path that they should take. You're really good at giving people that kind of advice and showing that that there's another path that they weren't seeing. So showing them the unseen path. On top of that too, you just might be a very decisive person. You really just know what's next, because like I said, you see things from a perspective that other people don't normally get to see. And so that gives you sort of that edge or that advantage. But let's go ahead and see your final tarot card here, but we'll look into other decks and supplies here too with the charms and everything. But let's see. Definitely feel free to send your energy in. Group 3, what do you have as your alluring, attractive... Oh my goodness, you definitely have some traits going on here. So the one that I had at the bottom of everything that fell here, and the one that resonated the most here for you, is the Two of Cups. So the Two of Cups talks about wanting to create really intense, true, honest, communicative, I'm not sure if that's a word, but very honest communication with other people. You want to be very true. You want to create very deep, connective relationships with people, and I think people see that in you. You're looking for kindred spirits. You're looking for people to be real with, or people to really create close-knit relationships with. And I think others are looking for that, or they haven't really ever had that in their life, and you really light that up in them, that they can be on an equal level to you as well. Whenever you see this card too, it shows that you're sharing these two cups, which means you're sharing your emotion, you're sharing your experiences. So there is something about sharing and being very vulnerable with people, and people really enjoy that because you are open to creating that space. So you definitely attract those types of people in. But we're going to go ahead and also look at your other cards here because I want to see a little bit more. So we're going to see here with the spell casting oracle here. So almost in a way, how do you cast a spell on people? What is this alluring, attractive, magnetizing trait about you that just really keeps people engaged and yes, and just really there? So we have passion. I'm almost feeling with this pile, we've got sort of a bridge between pile 1 and 2. So I feel like a lot of you might have chosen pile 1 or pile 2 and then also felt called to this one, so you might have came to both. But anyway, even if you didn't, we have passion here. There is this dance quality, there's this passion, this drive, but also just like, instead of like external passion where like you want to go after your goals, you have a vision board, you have dreams, all that kind of stuff, I feel like it's like an internal passion. Like you want to really feel passionate in the way you move, in all of the things that you do. There's something very alluring on like a physical level with this as well, and this feeling of like your spirit is just, it really radiates out. So like the light of your spirit really radiates out. People can really see you because you're okay with being seen. And maybe you're not interested in dancing, maybe you're the type of person that's very closed up, but this still is being shown. Like your spirit still kind of finds a way out, especially when you get into conversations that are very deep and very true, especially since you have two kind of coming in here. There's definitely this feeling of wanting to be very vulnerable with someone, so you may not be right off the bat. It might not be like you're not like maybe the type of person, although you might be the type of person who very outwardly likes to be dancy or very like playful with their body, or just like you're kind of just really fun and you're very gesticular with your movements, and the way that you talk just has like this like you're just constantly moving, and you just like, you can tell your mood from that. You may be that type of person, but you may feel a little shy about it almost, and I think people find that cute as well. But like I was saying, you may not be so outwardly that you actually are interested in dancing, or dancing in like the aisle of Walmart or something. You may not be interested in that. But I do think when people are really close to you and really get to know you, these are the sides of you that they find really alluring, that you can be so expressive with your body, with your mind, with your spirit and your soul. So let's go ahead and look a little bit further. I recently got this deck and I'm having so much fun with it with these readings. It's the Threadbound Oracle, and we're going to look into it with 2 different cards for you today. So let's see. Definitely send your energy in. So there's our first one. And we'll see what else comes in here. Any other messages on the alluring and attractive qualities within group 2? I'm definitely getting like this isn't just a friendship feeling, but also like a feeling of that passion too within a romantic relationship, that you're looking for a very romantic relationship. I'm gonna see. I do think those are the cards, so I'm just gonna take all 3 then, and we'll see what you've got here. Might just move this over and kind of play around here, but the first 2 that came up here that were together at least is the Artist and the Garden. So the Gardens here says pause, safety, and secrets. So again, you're the type of person that once you get someone in like your personal garden, in your personal space, in where you can really unlock your soul and show yourself, you guys can really bear it all. You can say all of your secrets. You can be fully vulnerable, fully with someone. And I also think with the fact that it says pause and safety, not only are you safe with other people's secrets, which makes them feel very safe with you, there's also this feeling of like being able to really pause with you as well, that you're very meditative when it comes to like having a conversation with someone. Like I said, you're not very fast with this Hanged Man or the Hanged One. You aren't, you're tied up, but you're still okay with it, right? Like you're not like struggling to get out. You're just kind of chilling there. So this is that feeling again of like when you're in the garden with someone, when you're in these sacred spaces, you see them that way. When you're having a conversation with someone, you really look and give all your attention towards them. And I think that people really enjoy that, and it's very refreshing for them. The other card that we had here that came up is the Artist. So you may be an artist, you may be very creative. We have all that passion, right? So like I said, you may be a dancer, but it could be another type of artistry that comes through here, because we have creativity, ingenuity, and labor. You also could be a very you may be really good at bringing creativity and artistry into whatever you do, a lot of craftsmanship into whatever your hobbies are within your also within like your even like workplace. So that's coming in as well, but let's see your final card. So we have the End that showed up, but it actually showed up upside down. So for this, it's giving me more of, instead of like you want to constantly end relationships, you're the type of person that really keeps them flowing and keeps them going. You don't constantly go in and out of a relationship. You're very committed. You're interested in people who want to be committed back, and if they aren't, then you might just snip them away, right? Like, once someone's in your circle, it's very hard for you to let go of them. It's very hard. You want to create very kindred relationships, ones that feel very, very, not necessarily intense, but just very like committed, and you're interested in that commitment, right? You have these really close knit places and such vulnerability that you don't want to go through all that work again, all that stuff that you've built up, this beautiful foundation. So when I see this, it's just making me think again, you want to whirl it all together, you want to keep it together, you want to keep it very close and sacred. And so people are interested in that. But I think, again, this also just tells you that you do have the right to snip out relationships. Just because other people may be interested in a long-term relationship with you doesn't mean you don't still have the scissors that you can use when you need to, when they become toxic or when they become too much or they take too much of your time. I think that's still important to note here. So with all of that in mind, I'm going to go ahead and move on to your letter tiles. As these are going to give you more of that information. Actually, you know what? I haven't pulled you a watercolor affirmation, so let's go ahead and do that first. So this is going to give you a little bit of information, like I was talking about before, sort of more advice about the people that you are bringing into your space versus just like who you are, but we'll see how it resonates. So let's see. This will be your final one here for the cards, and then we'll move on to your charms and everything. So there we go, group 3. Okay, so we have, oh my goodness, yes, find that way to rekindle that fire inside you. So I think you, especially if you watched pile 2 and then came to this one, you definitely light people up. You definitely have a fire under you. And with that passion card, right, you have this fiery energy. You may be a fire sign, but there is also a watery element to this as well. But I do see this really coming through in that way, but also just the idea that relationships can really give you a lot of hope for the future. They really give you a lot of comfort. They really give you that warmth that you're looking for. That's why it's so difficult to sometimes end a relationship with people, and maybe why you're looking for such deep relationships, because you're looking for a fire that doesn't just light you up and then move on, like they just snuff you out quickly. I think you're looking for relationships that really are long lasting, so that fire can continue to grow and go within you. Because I think it really does affect you otherwise. So let's go ahead and look into your letter tiles. Like I said, this is names, dates, places, and personality traits, and all of that kind of stuff coming through here for you. So definitely feel free to send your energy in, and we will look. So the first thing that came to me was zine, and then I don't know, maybe like you work with zines or magazines, or maybe you're a creative like writer, or creative writing is in your kind of suit here, because we do have zine coming up here. I don't know if you guys work with zines or know what they are, but that does come through. There's this empowerment, or the type of people that are interested in you because of achievements that they've heard about in newspapers or in things like that coming through. But that did come in here. I do see used almost. It doesn't exactly say used, but that came in as well. So I'm just feeling like this feeling of like maybe you like to thrift, or like you're interested in seeing things from a new perspective, because the other thing that comes through with the Hanged Man or the Hanged One is usually they have a very unique perspective on life, which also means they have a unique style. So you might be the type of person that goes to thrift stores. You have a very unique style, a unique way, and that can also be very alluring to people, because you can be very creative with your outfits, or creative with the way that you outwardly express yourself and your passions, that they really come through on the exterior. But let's see what else is coming in here. We have Dreniz. And then the last ones we have here undone is, it actually says me, which is interesting too. So maybe you are really attracting people who are very interested in looking for someone that really reflects them, right? They're looking for like another version of themselves, right? Some people look for opposites that attract, or opposites attract, right? So this is more like people are looking for someone who is very similar to themselves and want the same things as themselves. So you may have that sort of energy coming in here too. I also see red coming in here, so maybe that you wear a lot of red, maybe your favorite color is red. Again, that fiery energy is coming through. You may really look good in red, so maybe the days that you wear red, people just like totally see you. You may wear red lipstick, something coming in here with red. Maybe you have red hair. I also see dine, which makes me think again like maybe you're really interested in cooking or baking, so people really find your cooking, your baking, your baked goods, that kind of thing really allures people in because it's possibly one of your passions. There's something maybe even with drinks, maybe mixology or something like that coming through as well. But yeah, those are the top things that I'm seeing here. Definitely feel free to use your own intuition and see what comes in, because you might like write all of these down and then mix them all up and see what comes up for you. But those are the cards and charms that I'm seeing here so far. But we are going to go ahead and pull you your charms. So if you are enjoying this video, definitely feel free to like, or really just let me know your feedback either by liking the video or letting me know in the comments down below your thoughts on what's come up so far. Definitely use your own intuition. Maybe you saw specific words that I didn't see. I would love to hear your thoughts. It's always really fun for me. But yeah, let's go ahead and move on to your charms. So feel free to send your energy into them, and we're going to pull those smaller nuanced details. So here we go, group 3. Okay, so I'm going to pick up the ones that fell upside down here, or just fell a little bit off. I'm going to just check them out here, but then we are going to zoom in. We also have the letter W showing up here. Okay, so let's see together. So here we go. The charms that I pulled are there are a lot of the smaller charms, which I think is really interesting. So again, more of that feeling of like you have a lot of gestures, gesticular feelings to you, but it's like only certain people get to see that to a certain level for some of you. But we have the letter W showing up here as well. So alongside the rest of the letters that you have here, W showing up here towards your heart center within this passion card. The other things that we have here is the fault in our stars charm. So this makes me think maybe you think your passions or your gesticular motions or the way that you move your body can maybe make you self-conscious. You might think of it as a flaw or as something that is otherworldly or just not like what you think everybody is looking for and is maybe very unique. Maybe you have like a scar on your chin, or you have like, you know, a bigger nose or a streak in your hair or something like that makes you very unique, and you might see it as a fault, but other people see it as like this really beautiful, unique thing, and it's something to embrace. So I really like that coming through here as well. Towards your hand here on this passion card, we have the iridescence. So again, more of this like color outside feeling. You have very iridescent skin. Maybe you really shine quite a lot. Maybe your hair is very shiny and it has this sort of iridescent quality to it. But there is this iridescence. This also makes me think like, again, not everyone gets to see through like an iridescent thing, but when they do see through it, then they can see all that color behind the surface. So again, you don't give everything out freely, but when you do, you give it all out. You give it all the cards are out on the table. The other charms that you have coming in here, we have the dime charm. So this makes me think this makes me think of like people might be interested in you because of your career, or that you have maybe a bit more money, so that's something maybe to think about. The other things that we have here on the end is we have the the love is like song or singing. So you may be really interested in people who can sing or you are or other people are very interested in you because of your voice, because there is this like song happening here. And I think that a lot of people really fall in love with the melody of your voice, and I feel like the moment people hear you singing in the shower again, you get really shy and you end it immediately, and you like get very nervous possibly about it. But a lot of people find it really sweet, really cute, especially your loved ones in all aspects, because this talks about friendships, about committed friendships, about committed relationships, and on like literally every level. So I really like that came in too, is it's like people like to see that about you, even if you get a little shy. There also is this young innocence to you that a lot of people find really sweet, and it especially comes in with your expression here with the artist and creativity, because this talks about like inner child, childhood, preteen even, of being very playful, very fun, exploring the world, and just seeing things from a very young, innocent sort of level and a new perspective that maybe people don't normally see, and they enjoy seeing that within your artistry. The other thing we have here is we had two just kind of coming up here on that indecision charm, or card rather. But the two that you got here on each side of the sword is you have that you are closed off to love. So you're very indecisive, or the people maybe that you're alluring in are very indecisive about love. They may be feeling very locked off about love, but they're very aware of it. You're very aware of it, which is something to be, that they're aware that you're not just going to give love freely, right? That it's kind of locked off, but there is this middle ground, and if people can find you on that middle ground, if they can find that deeper layer to you, they're very excited to be able to do that, because you don't just open up your space to anyone. Sorry if any of the weird angles just changed, the camera died, but the last thing that I wanted to talk about here before the end is I just wanted to talk about how I also think that the things that just came through while I was like changing the battery as well, is just like, I feel like not only are your hand movements and the way that you move very unique and people really find that attractive and alluring, but also I think that your hands, like specifically your hands, I think that the way that they like express themselves is very alluring as well, because that comes through a lot. But again, there's this nervous energy, like the moment I said this, maybe some of you like hid your hands behind your back, or you maybe don't feel as confident in it, although some of you may feel very confident, right? We do have that passion card, but I do think some of you, or at least the majority that chose this pile, feel very shy in their hands, or shy in the moment someone tells them that, or tells you that your hands are alluring, or that they really like the way that you move, and that just makes you kind of nervous, and that just adds to the effect of them finding you really attractive. So with all of that in mind, I hope you found this reading useful, and if you did, definitely give this video a like, and let me know in the comments down below, like, what came in for you. Was it red? Did you see other things? Did any of the charms really hit you in a certain way? I would love to hear your thoughts. I always find that super, super interesting, so definitely let me know any feedback down below. And the last thing that I'll mention here too is to subscribe if you're interested in joining this Kindred Spirit space, as I put in new videos every single Monday to this space for love, spirituality, career messages, for your own self-empowerment, for these alluring messages, and so much more. But if that is something that you're interested in, definitely feel free to subscribe to this Kindred Spirit space. And if you would like to support this space even further beyond subscribing, liking, and commenting, definitely feel free to check out the Kindred Tip Jar down below, as it's a great way to send in a little bit of support financially to this space. It is definitely not required, but does make quite an impact, so I really do appreciate it. And if you're interested in supporting yourself even further as well, I do have different offerings for reading and magical supplies and papers and things like that, so you can check out my offerings down below. But currently, as of February 2022, I am doing readings for relationship snail mail readings. So these can be on any type of relationship. It's basically different types. We have 3 different types that you can look into for sort of a check-in, all the way to like deeply looking into your relationships, for love relationships and different partnerships romantically, for friendships, for family, all that kind of stuff, alongside even relationships with spirit or with a guide of yours, with your inner child and other ones too. So if that's something that you're interested in to uplift you, support you, and to figure out how your relationships are really going right now for you and how you can strengthen them, then definitely check those out down below in the description, as well as on my Instagram, as I have a lot of information, graphics, and other things there that really go a lot deeper into them. But yeah, definitely feel free to reach out. I would love to do a reading for you. I'll be doing those all the way through February. And with that said, thank you so much for supporting this space, for being here with me today and bringing your energy to this space, because it was quite beautiful and wonderful to read into the beautiful qualities that you have within you. So thank you again for supporting and being here, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.